Hello there, dear YouTubers. My name is King1993, and today I'll be doing another weapon review for which type of weapon is best for the which type of Valkyrie that is. And today's character today will be uh, Kallen Kaslana. Okay, so Kallen Kaslana is a character which all of them are grindable at the moment. Okay, so because all of them are grindable, they all also have some weapon list of which type of weapon is good on them. Okay, now Kallen Kaslana has three character types in her character set. Okay, so two of them are physical damage dealer, as you can see here. Two of them are physical damage dealer and one of them is ice damage dealer, and each of them has their own signature weapons. But do remember, just because they have their own signature weapon doesn't mean their signature weapon is gonna be a good quality one. No. A good example would be like Ronia. Okay. Ronia recently has another new character called Haxor Bunny. This character is called Haxor Bunny. And Haxor's Bunny recommended weapon is Crusher Bunny 19C. So this is the new weapon which is also available. And it has its own, what should I call it, ultimate as well. Okay, like weapon skill, and weapon skill can actually freeze enemy and also allows her to do an uh, QTE attack damage as well. So if you were to regard this as that this is the main signature weapon, then you should always use this. But the main problem is the attack points and the critical. So the attack point at the critical will always be low in regard to a 6-star weapon. So based on that, a 6-star weapon is more crucial than a 5-star weapon. Unless you do not have a 6-star weapon, then using a 5-star weapon is always a better option. Similarly, the same thing will happen to these characters as well. Okay, they each have their own signature weapon, but their own signature weapon are outdated. So let's go to the weapon section and select pistols and then select the star level. This is the weapon you will get by default. It is a very useless one. Attack damage is 7, attack point is 76 and critical is 8, and has no weapon skill. And in regard to those, if you do try to get this Desert Eagle, Gold Peacemaker or Gold Anaconda, then as a beginner these three weapons are actually very valuable, because this weapon can deal huge quantity of physical attack damage and their normal attack is also high. So in regard to that, I do suggest that you try to get these three weapons when you get the Kallen Kaslana characters. And once you go to the 4-star level, then congratulations, you are now an intermediate player. An intermediate player is capable of spending more crystals and weapon materials than people who are actually new to this game. So in that regard, I do suggest that you try to get the following weapon. Now do remember that Kallen Kaslana has only two type of characters. Okay, one is physical damage dealer and one is ice damage dealer. So based on that, if you get any weapon that is capable of doing only physical damage, then do get that. And if you get any weapon which has active skill of ice damage, then do get that as well, because the Kallen Kaslana with ice damage dealer, this weapon is gonna be more useful than weapons that is only doing fire damage. Now, if you do get a fire damage weapon, I suggest that you do not upgrade it because it is not worth it. All weapons that are not the similar damage type is gonna cause some sort of less damage effect on the enemies. So in that regard, I do not suggest that you try to get any fire weapon for the Kiana Kaslana or for the Kallen Kaslana characters. Okay, this is also a fire type. So get this, not these two. Get this one as well, physical damage. This one as well, also a sorry, this one is not actually that much useful. Do not get this. This one is a fire damage, so no. This one is also a fire damage one, so no. This one does lightning damage, so this one is also a no. And this one does physical damage, so this one is a yes. This one is a fire damage, so no. This one is a physical damage dealer one, so do get this one. This one is a physical damage dealer one, so get this one, and it has ice damage. This one is also capable of doing physical damage, so do get this one. And alloy damage, this one is does fire damage. So based on this, you will see that most of them, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6, not this one, 7, all 7 of them are fire damage dealing weapons. So do not get this weapon because these weapons are useless for Kiana or Kallen Kaslana characters. So once you go to the 5-star level, then congratulations, because these weapons are very hard to get. These weapons, in order to get this weapon, your captain level also must need to be very high, otherwise it is not possible to get this. So if you have a 5-star weapon, okay, do try to get any of the 5-star weapon, but do make sure that the weapon you are trying to get is not a lightning damage dealer weapon or a fire damage dealer weapon. For example, this hyper railgun, I got it for the Kiana Kaslana character, but I was unable to get a huge quantity of damage out of it. Why? Because this weapon is a lightning damage weapon. So as a result, this will not enhance the damage dealing part of the Kiana Kaslana character. Basically speaking, after getting this weapon, I used it, but I was not able to get a huge quantity damage out of it. Okay, this is an example. So based on that, again I'm gonna say those few things: yes, no, yes, no. This is yes, no, yes. When I say yes, means you get it. Okay, this is a no, no, yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no. As the name suggests, Thunder Kikaku basically means it does thunder damage, so no. Yes, no, because it does fire damage. Okay, so what will happen is it will does fire damage. Character takes 20% less ice damage. So basically speaking, this weapon is only good for using fire damage. It stuns enemy, but it does fire damage. So in that regard, this is a no weapon. But if you do get it for free, use it, because a 5-star weapon is far better than a 4-star weapon. But this is still a no. Yes, also yes, because this does ice damage. This is a no. This is a no for two reasons. One is it does fire damage, and if I use the its weapon skill, the character also receive damage. So no. Starry yes. This one was an event weapon which was available only for once, and then the second time it never came, so I never got this. Okay, Harsher of the Void definitely yes for the physical Kaslana character, because it will does more physical damage. Basically, another thing you guys must need to understand: a physical damage dealing weapon and a physical damage dealing character will destroy the enemy shield. Basically speaking, when the enemy shield gets destroyed, the enemies take more damage for a short period of time. Based on that, this is definitely a yes for the Kaslana character. This is also yes because it does physical damage. This one is also yes. Should I call it yes? No. I think this should be called as no because it does only fire damage. I got this from the Halloween. It comes every year, okay? So the chances of you getting this weapon is highly possible, but it does only fire damage. This is Arcerathas. Arcerathas is a physical damage dealing one. It is an extremely good one. If you do get this, upgrade it, use it because it is one of those weapons. If you do not have it, you will regret it, okay? Similar goes to this Twins of Eden. Twins of Eden is a physical damage dealing. Not only that, it makes the enemy gather in one place. So based on that, this is definitely a better version. And this Feng Pinions is a lightning damage dealing weapon. I do not recommend this. And finally, this one is a what? So this one is a also a weapon which does ice damage. Okay, it not only that, it does both ice damage and physical damage as well. So if you have let's say Kallen Kaslana, the ice character one, 638 that is. If you get this weapon for her, then this weapon will do both physical and ice damage. Okay, so uh, this is this is a good one, and the last one is this Dominator. At first, when I didn't understood the concept of physical damage, lightning damage, ice damage, and fire damage, I at first used any weapon which has the highest attack skill. But eventually, I realized that this game is more about understanding the any games these days has the ability to understand which type of enemies take which type of damage. Based on this, I was foolish at first and I would always use this one most of the time, but didn't realize that this weapon is the most useless of them because there is no Kiana Kaslana or Kallen Kaslana character that is capable of doing fire damage, and this one does fire damage. So based on that, I'm gonna say that all of the weapons here, okay, most of them are either physical damage, fire damage, ice damage, or lightning damage dealer weapons. Do not get the fire damage dealing or the ice damage, or sorry, do not get the lightning or the fire damage dealing weapons because in the long run, those weapons are the most useless one, okay? Now, in case of the 6-star weapon, there is 3 of them. This one is the most useless one, so do not try to get this one. But if you have this by default, okay, but or rather you got this by some event or something, then upgrade it and use it because it has a huge damage point. But in the long run, this weapon will become useless because if you equip the proper equipment on the proper character, it will does a huge lot of damage. Okay, this is a good example. This is the Domain of the Void. This weapon is mostly for Harsha of the Void character, but this weapon can also be used on Kiana Kaslana and Kalin Kaslana characters who are also capable of doing physical damage dealing. So this is the best weapon on them. And for 6 Serenade, okay, there is only one physical damage dealing character who is capable of doing ice damage, and that is 6 Serenade. 6 Serenade, sorry, there is only one pistol using characters called 6 Serenade, who is capable of doing ice damage, and if you were to equip this on her, then it will do the mightiest amount of damage. Okay, so this is my recommendation. Now let's go and see what's okay, their signature weapon is. Okay, if you do get their signature weapon, it is also better to remember that. So this one signature weapon is this boss of hell. So this boss of hell is an ice damage dealing one, but I have no idea why, because she herself or this ritual Imayo is not a ice damage dealing character. So in that regard, I would say this weapon is a useless one on her. Okay. Yep. This is a useless weapon for her. And uh, this one, Sanden Jaeger, for this character, this is her main signature weapon. So if you do get this weapon for her to upgrade it, because this weapon is a physical damage dealing weapon, and not only that, it is a good weapon because the attack critical, and also the weapon has no active skill, but it does have passive skill, and each of these Sandenjäger basic attack, ultimate, and burst, whatever it is, damage she does, it will support that Sandenjäger character to the full extent. So based on that, I'm gonna say that this weapon is best for her if you do try to get the 5-star one. But eventually, if you do get the Domain of the Void, do give it to them, because it will does more benefit to them than any other weapon type. Okay. Last but not least, the 6 Serenade. For 6 Serenade, the best weapon for her is the Tranquil Arias. So the Tranquil Arias is the best weapon for her, but eventually it will change into a 6-star weapon. And once it changes into a 6-star weapon, the benefit will be huge. So based on that, I do suggest that if you do get Tranquil Arias, update it as fast as possible. Okay. So this is the recommendation. Now let's go to the uh, weapon forge. Okay, let's go to this equipment and this forge. Okay, so this forge option was not available at the beginning, but it is now available. To use it and choose weapon by Valkyrie. Now if you do choose weapon by Valkyrie, then if you go down, then eventually the Kallen Kaslana character will show up. Now as you can see here, as I have told you previously, the best weapon for her is actually a weapon which is capable of doing physical damage dealing. So based on that, this one should be at the top, at the most highest list, not this one. But why did they do this? I have no idea. But when you equip her with this one, she can do more damage, because I tried to get her to use her own character, what should I call it, character trials, and I tried gave her this position blaster. It didn't work out good. Okay, but when I gave her Domain of the Void, I was able to overcome the character rituals, or the fight, that is. Okay, so this is the best weapon for her. But if you do get a 5-star weapon for her, then the best option would be not this too. This is what is recommending me. Now, why did it recommend me? I have no idea. This is the only time I think I am gonna go against this, whatever is written here. I'm gonna tell you that if you do get this weapon, okay, usurper, then do give her usurper, because usurper and this spirit Ganyai, these two are actually the good weapon, physical damage dealing weapon for her. So if you get any of these two weapons for her, then it will do a huge benefit to that character. Okay. I have no idea why the fire damage dealing weapon are at the top, even though it will not benefit her, because this character, okay, Ritual Imao, is a physical damage dealing one. So definitely do not always trust whatever is written here, and do try to understand that I am speaking from experience, and from that I am saying what is actually true. Equip the proper weapon to the proper characters in order for them to deal proper damage. Okay, now this is 6 Serenade. Okay, Now 600, as I have already told you, this is the best weapon for her. Okay, so if you do get this weapon, then upgrade it and give it to her, because the tranquil areas is eventually will change into this weapon, whatever it is called, and it will do a huge quantity of damage. But in regard to which other weapon is actually good for her, obviously do try to give her a physical damage dealing weapon, either these two, but not these two, because these two are, this is a let's see, this is a 4-star weapon, so definitely lower in the power category or damage category, and this has fire damage dealing. So eventually most of your enemies, which I am 100% sure you are gonna use ice damage dealer against a fire enemy, so this weapon is out of condition or not the good weapon for her. So don't get these two. Okay, do try to get these two weapon for her, because these two weapon are actually the best physical damage dealing weapon. Now at the last category is Sandan Jigar. Again, I do not have any idea why this number is high. Okay, because it doesn't make sense. It is a fire damage dealing weapon. Give her this one. Domain of the White should be the best weapon for her. And if you do try to get these two, any of these two, sorry, not these two, this and this one. If you do try to give her this one, then do so, because these two weapon will do a large quantity of damage on the enemies. Okay, so this is my conclusion of which type of weapon you should be using, even though it is the more confusing one, because it doesn't actually happen like that. So based on that, I'm gonna say that do try to get the proper weapon for the proper character based on this video, and do not always try to get the best weapon based on the sports category, especially for the Kallen Kaslana character. It is extremely inaccurate. Okay, anyway,